Hello, everyone. Cheryl Arkle, Better Reading, Tom Keneally. Yeah.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. Tom is in the house. Yay. This is the Tom Keneally, author of Schindler's Ark, author of many, many books. How many? 60 books we talked about?
Roughly. Nearly every book I've written has been published so far, but publishing is in a bit of crisis now in the US, so we'll just have to see.
We'll just have to see. So welcome, everyone. Cheryl Arkle, Tom Keneally. You know the segment. We love the segment. It's called What Are You Reading, Tom? So we ask our people at home what they're reading, and we tell them about what we're reading. So welcome, everybody. And we're going to start with Tom. Tom's books are going to appear on the screen. What's the first one going to be?
Well, could it be, do we know, should I say?
Yeah, you should say.
Well, the first one's going to be The Heart's Invisible Furies, which is the first book of John Boyne's I read after.
There it is, up on the screen.
Now, this is just, if ever you want to know what it was like to grow up gay in Ireland without a bloke milking it, it's an astounding tale. And what is wonderful, there was a stage when I felt people were explaining themselves self-consciously to the reader. Boyne doesn't explain it. He just
it's who I am.
It's who I am.
It's just who I am.
And he talks about the dreadful prejudice that sort of ended in a couple of weeks until modern times, the dreadful prejudice against gay blokes. And he writes so beautifully about his relationship with the lover, who is a Dutch surgeon whom he meets on his travels in escaping Ireland. And it just works. It works like, so you get this wonderful feeling that you're actually, having been raised in a period of hysteria about gays, you get a feeling, I read John Boyne, and he's so nice to me. He talks to me like a human.
Yeah, like a human.
So I found this revelatory in this case. I found he's writing about, in narrative terms, it's a little bit all over the place, but that's okay. I like novels that are a little bit all over the place. There is a segment on HIV and working in a hospital in New York, Mount Sinai.
At the time
of HIV, and it is the most convincing, and one's appalled now to think of what was pulled by those
and also
extreme Christians who are wrecking America and who treated their fellow humans like crap.
Terrible.
Like crap.
Okay, now let me, I've got some comments that I need to go through, and we're going to talk some more about some of your other books. But before I do that, I want to say that Tom's here because we've been recording a podcast, actually, and this is Tom's new book, Fanatic Heart. Now, I'll just say hello to everyone that's at home. We've got Tracy who says hi, Sharon that says hi, Cheryl, hi, Tom.
Hello, everyone.
Carolyn says hi, Cheryl and Tom. So wonderful to see you, Tom.
Yeah.
I'm in the midst of writing Christmas cards, so no book reading for me just now. Christine says it's nice to see us both. Kylie says hello. Jess says hi. Julietta Henderson, who's also a writer at Penguin Random House, who publishes you.
Yeah.
She's with us today, and she says, what a treat, Cheryl and Tom. It is such a treat, Julietta.
Oh, now, Tracy Anderson is reading Middlemarch.
She's reading Middlemarch.
Which is my tip for the best novel in English.
Oh, that's a big call. Tom.
Yeah.
That is a very big call. See, Tracy, there you go.
And
straight from Tom Keneally, Middlemarch.
And
book.
that portrayal of the marriage between the surgeon and the Middlemarch girl is just so modern. It's a modern story.
Michael says that he's followed Tom Keneally for many,
God
many
bless
years.
you, Michael. And you're standing up for the, what is it that we have, the Y chromosome, is it?
Yeah.
You're standing up for the Y chromosome, son.
Yeah, we like
you're
to
the first bloke.
Yeah, we're the first bloke we like to see blokes. Wynne says hi. Kylie is still reading The Girl Who Fell from the Sky by Emma Carey.
Oh, yeah.
Jessie is reading Workwives by Rachel Johns. I think, do you want to pass me that book there?
Yes.
That's Workwives. That's a segue. Rachel Johns. You probably haven't read this book.
Not yet.
But it's a lot of fun. And Rachel Johns is a really lovely writer from Perth in Western Australia.
That's wonderful.
Isn't that wonderful?
There are really lovely writers all over the place because you have lunches here where you bring old writers like me to meet young writers. And I've read since that lunch more new writing than I've read in about 3 years.
Oh, gosh, that just makes me feel so happy that that's what we got out of that lunch.
Yeah.
Not just good
and
food.
And they're geniuses, the little buggers.
Julianne just started reading Dreamers and Schemers by Frank Bongiorno.
Oh, yes.
Do you know that?
I do know Frank Bongiorno's work. He's an historian.
Yeah, there you go. Kim,
and a very good one.
A very good one. Okay. Kim just finished the 12 Topsy-Turvy Very Messy Christmas. Really enjoyed it. So lots of varied reading here.
I'm reading The Man from...
Oh, you are?
Someone said...
Who Died Twice.
Who Died Twice.
By Richard Osman. That's Cindy. He's from the UK, actually. He's a comedian, I think. And she's also just read Di Morrissey. You know, some of our readers read over 50 books a year.
It wouldn't surprise me.
It doesn't surprise you, does it?
Now, Di is a formidable woman. She is the most professional of all writers.
Isn't she?
I have to say, she used to live 2 doors from us when she was on television, and she started writing, and she lays down such a professional basis for all her writing. She runs a website on it. She posts new material on it. I don't know where she gets, I think it's either a book or a website. But she does both. On top of that, she edits the best regional newspaper.
Yeah, but weren't we talking about the X and Y chromosomes? I think that there's something about multitasking. Right now.
And the other thing about women writers, they're nicer to each other than we are. Blokes are.
Do you think? Cindy's also reading Gary Fraser's book, The Prodigal Sister, and that gives me a segue because we are talking about the forthright woman who's also written by Gary Fraser. And it's a book that's historical fiction. It's got a dual timeline set between 1898 and 1955. It's got adventure, history, and romance. And Dari, I think Dari lives in Australia or is Australian but lives overseas. Is that right? Somebody check for me. Oh, yeah. Off the coast. Not far
a French possession called
right. Sharon is reading The Bay by Ali Reynolds.
Oh, this is all great.
Don't you love this? You can find lots of tips here.
I could get an education out of your reads.
That's right. Denise is reading The Workwives by Fiona,
So that's 2.
Rachel John. That's 2.
She's the lucky writer.
She is the lucky writer. Jane is reading The Paper Palace by Miranda Crowley. Ed has just finished reading An Afterlife for Rosemary Ann.
What's it like?
Well, Annette, have you enjoyed it? Okay, there you go. Mary says hello. Therese just finished Fly Away Peter by David Malouf.
That's a lovely...
That's a beautiful book. And reading Cosmo by Helen Garner. Just recently, we had David Malouf in the office and we had Helen Garner in the office. Do you know both the writers?
I do know both of them. David is the most...
gentle soul.
Genial. And he's not driven to write. He just can't avoid it. He's not an ambitious working class knuckle dragger like me.
No.
He's a man of huge sensibility and he writes a reputable number of books.
Now, I want to ask you about Garner. I feel that Helen Garner is one of the greatest Australian writers of all time.
Yeah,
Would you agree with that?
I saw her speak at the Adelaide Festival one year, and someone suggested she might write non-fiction. And she said no. She said no. She mentioned me, and she said no. I don't see myself doing that. But she does it, and it's become her. She does it brilliantly, yes. And
Jo Trinque's Consolation is one of her non-fiction about that young fellow that was murdered by his flatmate, and that is one of my all-time favourite books.
Well, I'm going to Ireland in January to write about a murder of a youngish man in the 1890s, for which half my family are suspects.
Right.
A man was hanged for it. He's just been pardoned by the Irish president.
Oh wow!
Recently. So this murder is quite possibly the reason why I'm an Australian. I'm not still in Newmarket, County Cork. And in fact, it's why I wrote, what's the one that won that last Corporal Hitler's pistol, which is set in Kempsey, New South Wales.
Right.
Which the other Keneallys that went to New York, escaping the shadow of this crime, they settled in New York, but we settled in Kempsey, New South Wales. How inequitable in immigration terms is that?
Do you know, and you probably have wondered this yourself, because, I'm Lebanese, and my mum was one of 9, and 3 of them immigrated to Australia, and 6 of them stayed in Lebanon, right? So she's got 6 living brothers and sisters there still with their families. And when I have seen them over the years, because I've been back a couple of times, I've often wondered, what would I have become if I grew up in Beirut, Lebanon? What kind of life would I have had? What kind of life would you have had in Ireland?
You would have been pro Lebanese.
Oh yeah, I'm always pro Lebanese. Yeah. Do you know what I think?
And therefore, your relationship with Israel would be ambiguous, and you would be a human rights advocate.
Yeah, I might be. Yeah,
and so
I could be married to George Clooney actually then. Because his wife, isn't she? All of that, Amal Clooney.
Hey, gee.
Yeah. Anyway, look, you
sultry Lebanese girls spreading your magic over Hollywood.
There you go. You can just run with it, right? You can be whoever you want to be. But I often do think about that. Do you know, I don't know if I've told you this, but one time when I went back to Lebanon, and these people have probably heard, these lovely people at home have probably heard the story. But, I was born in Sydney, even though my parents came, because they came and went. So me and my sister Margaret were born here. This is a really quick story, but it's very, very heartfelt, because in my adult life, Australian passport, born in Sydney, I went to Lebanon to visit my cousins, and the immigration guy, who was only a young fellow, he stamped my passport and he said, "Welcome to your homeland."
Oh, break your heart. Break your heart.
Anyway, there you go. Yeah. All right. Meryl is reading The Hunted by Gabriel Bergmoser. It's a thriller. It's a really good book. Michael is reading Peter Ashes.
There's a big book out now about you too, isn't
there? Yes.
Bono was one of the protectors of Salman Rushdie. Yes. Salman had a sort of granny flat in his backyard. In Dublin for a good part of the time the fatwa was really biting. The recent history is showing terrible. You can't tell when the fatwa is going to bite next.
It's terrible. Do you know, I was working in a London bookstore, Dillon's, at the time of the fatwa.
And here's Vivian Underwood. We should have a date, Vivian, because you're a John Boyne fancier too.
Oh my God, I love this book and any others. Oh, that's right. I think you and Vivian need to meet for lunch.
Yes.
Okay, there you go. Well, Tom's reading the comments ahead of me. I've got to go through some books. Oh, Judy Nunn. Do you know Judy?
I do know her, and I haven't read her yet.
Right.
I know her as an actor, but
do.
she's even more successful as a novelist.
She is. Well, she was in here a couple of weeks ago doing what we're doing today, talking about books. But we also recorded a podcast, as we did earlier, and the podcast is out now. So do you listen to podcasts, Tom?
I do.
I do too.
I
love
listen to podcasts and recorded books.
Oh, you do? So do I. Fiona Palmer, this is a wonderful book called The Wrong Sister.
It's supposed to be. That's sort of a mystery, is it?
Yes.
It's amazing how many of the young writers choose that format to write in. But they're all good at it. I mean,
do you know she lives 350,000 kilometres outside of Perth?
350,000?
Yeah. So she's very remote, I'd say. There are only 4 houses in her town.
In WA?
In 350,000, yeah, in WA. And one of the houses is her parents'. So it's just incredible. But anyway, she's a really good writer, and that's out now too. And I recorded a podcast with her. Sarah Barry, you joined us last night with the lovely Sarah Barry. This is crime. She's written a book called Retribution, and the event was on last night, and it's the next in the Lexi Winter
You know,
series.
there's a problem with that format, Cheryl.
B format?
No, it's the peril with why I've never written a thriller, although I've written some with my daughter about a convict called Montserrat. But when you have a horrible murder at the start of a book, evil is in the air. It permeates everything. Everyone is touched by it. It's cosmic. And then the biggest problem with the mystery is saying, oh, it was bird ant whistle. And suddenly the cosmic nature of the evil, of the event shrinks to the one miserable little sob, you know? And that's a conundrum I've never quite conquered. And I notice it happen in books that the announcement of who did it often comes to me as a disappointment. I'm a great admirer of the murder mystery, and what is great compared to the literary festivals of my day is that it is recognized as a legitimate format now. You wouldn't have got a Guernsey.
Yeah. Did you, speaking of formats and the structure, I guess, of crime fiction, one of my favorites, and at the time there was no such genre when I read this, is Gabriel Garcia Marquez's The Chronicle of a Death Foretold.
Yeah.
Where you find out in the very first page that a person dies and who killed him. But we spend the rest of the novel trying at such speed, trying to prevent that from happening, even though we know it's happened. He's a great writer, isn't he?
And the other thing we've got now is it's hard to work out how guilty the victim is the killer is as compared to a psychiatric patient. So is the killer if he's at all, we don't want our killers to be, we want to be evil through and through. So you've got to find a man or woman who's evil through and through.
Speaking of good thrillers, Gemini Falls by Sean Wilson. He wasn't at the lunch, but he was at our Melbourne dinner. And he's written this great book. It's his first book.
Nice title.
Isn't it a nice title? And it's about a small town during the Great Depression. Beautiful title. Good book.
Now, they're all writing about the past.
They are.
Because the past is only present in different underwear.
Well, what do you think?
The past is definitely. I found in writing my book about 1933, the one that won the Historical Nobel Prize, to my amazement, I didn't even know 1933 was
historical
because I've won 1935. Anyhow, in writing that, I'm writing about modern issues. Women, place of women, what women do, women's entitlement to leave a marriage, Aboriginal women in the Aboriginal camps of a big town like Kempsey, Irish refugees from the Civil War of the early 1920s, very much a living issue for my parents, but still a living issue in Ireland, and World War I. the shadow of World War One over us. And it is true that there was a man in Kempsey who claimed to have a pistol. He took off Corporal Hitler on the night of 19th July 1916, when a battalion from the north coast took over the lines of Hitler's regiment. So we were in direct contact for one night with
Wow. There you go. There you go.
I love it when Australians get involved in these weird connections.
Therese is just saying that she loves the cover of Fanatic Heart. Thank you, Therese.
Yeah, it is lovely.
And Kim says, I just finished Iris. I think I need to get Tom's new book. And she says, love you, Tom. A big fan.
Hey, Kim Balal.
Yes.
You're very welcome to. I'm sorry you'll have to pay for it. If you were present here, you'd be a special to get one signed.
Oh, aren't you lovely? Alona is reading East of Alice by Annie Seaton, and she's just finished Pomegranate and Fig by Zahida Ghani and The Soulmate by Sally Hepworth. See how much people are reading? Vivian agrees with you. Middlemarch is absolutely wonderful.
Yes, yeah.
Michael says, thank you, Tom. Much appreciated. You've got a lot of fans here, Tom. I mean, way more than I have. Julie says, hi. Lovely to have you on the segment, Tom. Tracy said, it looks like I'm in good company if I'm reading a book Tom Keneally loves. Mary says, I'm reading Stolen Focus by Johann Hari. Jessica is reading
Dancing
with Ghosts by Rita Rowe. Vanessa, hi Cheryl, hi Tom. I'm reading The Seven Skins of Esther Wilding by Holly Ringland.
Now, what an interesting concept. Obviously, the multi-skilled skinned woman.
Yes.
I got to tell you that because the name Keneally means the man who marries seal women who have many skins.
Wow.
And that's what Keneally means.
Oh, is that right? I did not know that.
We're the blokes who, it's a great feminist myth. The woman hangs up her skin in the house. And if you treat her right, she never goes back to it. But if you're a bastard, and most Keneallys are, she goes back to it, puts it on, and goes out in the Atlantic. And you're left singing for her for the rest of your life.
Well, there's one good Tom Keneally here. Hey, listen, Freedom, Only Freedom by, by Ruth Bachani. I mean, what kind of people are we that we lock people seeking asylum up? I mean, it is really, it's such a big topic, but this fellow is touring. He's in Australia as we speak. He's coming into our office next week. And we're going to record a podcast with him. And this is his new book.
And he wasn't even allowed to settle in Australia at the end of all that.
Isn't that?
He went to New Zealand. And the New Zealanders got him. And he's a very talented bloke. And of course, he wrote it by mobile phone. He wrote it in sentences.
Yeah, absolutely. And we still didn't give him a chance in this country. Anyway, we're not going to talk about that right now. Oh, this is Adam Courtney. Do you know Adam?
Ah, yes, I know Adam. He wrote a great book on the mutineers who stole a boat from Tasmania and sailed it all the way to Chile. And he's a good mate of my daughter, Margaret, too.
Oh,
Adam, good on you. You're a very amiable fellow. I've met a lot of young writers who speak very highly of you, as do I.
There we go. Adam Courtney, there you go. You heard it here, right here at Better Reading. Kate says hi to both of us. Kerry says, good afternoon. I'm reading The Dragon's Promise by Elizabeth Lim. Loved it.
Loved Heart's Invisible Furies.
And Loved Heart. Yes, there you go.
Good on you. And the Blakes. There you are. There's some decent Blakes out there.
I don't think Kerry's a bloke.
Oh, she might be a female.
I think you're thinking Irish.
Yeah, that's
I think
right.
In Australia,
I had male cousins called Kerry. Yeah.
There you go. Yvonne says hi to both of us. Just finished.
Hey.
Yvonne's just finished her 17th of the year.
Yeah.
The Bellbird River Country Choir. Tom, she says, I love Towards Azamara, a great book.
Oh, that's a book I wrote about at the time when Fred Hollows was very involved with Eritrea.
Yeah.
It's set in Eritrea.
There you go. I enjoyed it. Tracy currently reading Sydney Across Spain by Elsa Piper. Do you know Elsa?
No, but
Yes.
it's a Piper. Yes, she was
Yes.
here. Elsa
Yeah,
was here.
yeah, and she
Yeah,
her
she
partner
had
died.
her book with her. I
No,
thought.
it wasn't
No.
about lunch. Anyway,
See,
yeah, she's great.
it's a very promising title, Tracy.
Hey,
As a real seminarian, I'm very much in favour of sinning across any topography.
well, now listen, there's a name here that's very familiar to me and very familiar to you, Meredith Kernow, and she's reading The Passion of Private Wine by Don Watson. Yeah.
I wonder, is it a novel?
No, it's non-fiction.
Non-fiction.
Yes.
There are a lot of. Don Watson is a great writer. He's one of the greatest prose writers we've got.
Mm.
And one of his earliest books that isn't well known, but I think Meredith Kernow at Penguin Random House publishes it, is Caledonia Australis. And it's about the Scots bounty immigrants, the arse out of their trousers, settling in Gippsland.
Right.
It's about evicted Highland workers being sent to Gippsland and then becoming lairds.
There you go.
And beating the crap out of the
well, that's our Meredith, so that's your publisher.
Yes.
Right there. Okay.
God bless you, Meredith.
God bless you. I think she's home. She's not well. So I'm glad she's tuned in to watch this today. Yeah. Sarah just finished The Tilt by Chris Hammer. Fabulous book. Have you read any Chris Hammer?
No, I will.
I think you have to, yeah. Adam's just read A Bloody Good Rant, and it was bloody good rant. Thanks.
Oh, that's nice.
Michael says one of the best novels written by you, Tom Keneally, is Homebush Boy.
Yes, and it's actually biography.
There you go. Thanks, Michael. Paula has just finished Those Who Perish by Emma Visage and now reading Us Against You by Frederick Backman. We've got to go soon. Hi, Emma. Melissa says, I'm reading Family Strangers by Fiona Lowe. Maria, good morning, Cheryl and Tom. I have just finished reading Every Day the Way Home Gets Longer and Longer by Frederick Backman. That's two in a row. Beautiful novella. Jessica, I love The Forthright Woman. I received a copy by Harlequin Australia. And Julie says, hi, Cheryl and Tom, about to start Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste Nung. Hearing great things about her new book. Our Missing Hearts have put it on her TBR list.
To be read.
Yes. I was going to ask you if you knew that. Now, we do have to go. Have I covered everything? Can I just hold up one before we go? We're out of time. Surprise, surprise. But this is Tom Keneally, the absolute Australian legend, Tom Keneally. This is his new book, Fanatic Heart. Tom, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you to everybody at home. Do you want to say thank you to all our readers?
Well, thanks to everyone. The only thing I can say about Fanatic Heart is it's got some great women in it. One of them is the mother of Oscar Wilde.
Oh, wow.
Who fell for a Tasmanian convict. You didn't know that, did you?
No. Well, they know now. See you, everybody. See you. Oh, next week, it's, what do we have this segment? We do, but we don't. This is the last segment for the year. So I've got to say, I want to thank everybody for joining us. These readers have empathy, don't they, Tom? I mean, readers are the best people. Book people are the best people, I say. Thank you so much for joining us this year. Next Wednesday night, the 14th, at 8 p.m. is our online Christmas party. We're going to be drinking champagne, and you're going to be drinking champagne at home. We're going to give away 10 bookshop vouchers. Each valued at $100, right? So 10 lucky people will win a book voucher. You choose the bookshop, and we will then give you a $100 voucher from that bookshop. We've got other prizes. Do you want to come round, Jane? What we've also got is we're going to have a discount on the teas. So can we see your teas and the merch? What are you reading?
Yeah.
From now until next Tuesday night, 5 p.m., free postage on merch. So go to our website, betterreading.com.au. And thank you so much for all your support, for all your comments. Do you know, Tom, every night before I go to bed, I read everybody's comments because they just make you feel good.
Yeah. And look at the wonderful mix you've got.
Yeah.
Old names like Gill and Frail that you would have expected to see in 1820. But then you've got Ascari and Juska, Marty Juska.
Yeah.
And
look at all of
Kate
that.
Jackson, and followed by Marty, yes, and Holly Golightly again. Do you think that might be a nom de plume?
Holly Golightly, it is, because I actually know her, and her name is Alita Huffness,
and you're about to sign a book.
And you're about to sign a book for her. That was meant to be a secret.
Holly Golightly's a great name to adopt.
That's right, and it was meant to be a secret. I was going to give it to her as a gift and not tell her.
She says, "Love Corporal Hitler's pistol."
Yeah, I think she likes you a lot.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. I don't know how that happened, but she does. Well, okay, that's it for us. Goodbye. Have a great Christmas. Have a safe Christmas.
Happy Christmas. And
See you at the
Happy
Christmas
New Year.
party.
See you at the Christmas party next Wednesday night, 8 p.m, and we'll be drinking champagne and prizes.